Notre Dame announcing it will hold classes on campus for the fall semester, but starting in August. Paul Browne is the Vice President of Public Affairs and Communications for Notre Dame. It's nice to have you here, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Scott. It's a pleasure.
How did your president, Reverend Jenkins, and the Board of Trustees come to this decision?
Well, it's been after many weeks of very serious thought and advice from some of the best medical experts in the country we could bring to the cause. So it was a lot of study, a lot of thought with people who could give us the best advice that brought us here.
As I mentioned, so take me through this. You're going to start bringing students in August, and you'll end when?
We'll end just before Thanksgiving. And what drove that decision was under a normal semester, the students in the middle of the semester, they would start on August 25th. In the middle of the semester, break for a week, disperse to all parts of the United States and around the world. That's about 10,000 students from Notre Dame doing that. Come back, then just before Thanksgiving, all those people disperse again. And after Thanksgiving, come back and stay until Christmas when there's another break. What those breaks do, the experts tell us, is bring these thousands of people back and forth, going out into the country and around the world, and come back with a likelihood of bringing pathogens with them. By concentrating the semester, getting rid of those breaks, starting a little early, August 10th, finishing before Thanksgiving, we will diminish that risk considerably.
Yeah. How's the classroom going to look for students?
Different. We're going to have social spacing. So some class, so where we might have a small class, it would now be meeting in a medium-sized class, or a medium-sized class in a large one. So we're going to have to use some other spaces to accommodate smaller numbers of students occupying larger space.
Curious, how will you handle an outbreak if there is one?
Well, Father Jenkins and his team put in a plan where if there is an outbreak after we open, we have parallel at the same time the ability to return almost instantly to distance learning. And we could do that for all the students and require them to go home if that was necessary. But we also have it in place for those students we may need to quarantine. It could be a small number after we do testing when they return. Say those students can't go into a classroom, they'll be able to use distance learning or using basically an online computer to receive the same instructions that their fellow students will be receiving in the classroom.
Interesting. And aside from being known as a fine academic institution, obviously Notre Dame is known quite well for its athletics. So how are we thinking about athletics right now?
Yeah, the Fighting Irish have that fight on their hands, too. It's a little more complicated than the classroom, obviously because of contact sports. But at the same time, those are relatively small groups or cadres of students. And we're seeing if that can be addressed. Now, the associated problem is the stadium. Notre Dame Stadium routinely gets 80,000 people at a game. We're not going to be doing that in the midst of a pandemic. But on the other hand, if we limited attendance to, you name the number, 10,000, 20,000, even 40,000, we'd have plenty of room to socially distance in a stadium that large.
So you can actually foresee holding Notre Dame football games with some fans in the stands at this point?
Well, it's possible. Let's put it that way. We haven't reached a decision, number one, on whether there'll be football at all. We have to get to that decision. But the stadium one it's a different decision entirely, and one that we could see. I think the outcome is more easily reached because we have the room for social distance.
Understood. Mr. Browne, be well. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.
Thank you.